So, professional wrong person, Jason Johnson is out with a new hot take we had to bring to you. Okay, so a lot of talk about the post office.
That's right.
What's going on with the mail? President Trump,
Yes.
He doesn't want to increase funding because he doesn't want to have mail-in balloting, universal mail-in balloting in the fall. There's a guy who's a Republican donor who's in charge.
Right.
We can get into all those.
But also a logistics expert.
Right, so we can get into all those pieces,
Yeah.
okay? But Jason's take is that this is really all Bernie Sanders' fault. Okay, let's throw up the first tweet. So here's what Jason said. He says, the Board of Governors is supposed to have 9 members, but they operated with an emergency committee and without a quorum for years because Obama appointees to the committee were blocked. Who were they blocked by? Senator Bernie Sanders. So this is all really Bernie's fault. So what you see there at the top is Warren Gunnels, who's Bernie's staff director, setting the record straight here. So this is one of the most absurd takes of all time. The postal nominees that Bernie blocked wanted to privatize the Postal Service, end 6-day mail, undermine unions, cut jobs, pension, health care benefits, and lobbied for the payday lending industry. If we move forward to the next tweet, he's got the receipts there of the people who were blocked, who were, in fact, one was Ronald Reagan's OMB director who wanted to privatize the Postal Service, a payday lending lobbyist, guy who wants to end Saturday mail / jobs, pension, and health care benefits. So the truth of the matter here is, number one, Republicans have been attacking the Postal Service for a long time.
Right.
There's been a whole movement to try to privatize it. They push, and this gets a little bit into the weeds, but it's actually important. They forced the post office to prepay their unfunded pension liabilities in a way that is way different than any other service or agency. So that is what has forced the financial picture to look worse than it actually is in an attempt to justify cuts. So as you can see here, basically the only person who was really caring about this and doing anything about it was Bernie Sanders.
Back in, what, 2000?
This is 2000.
Wow.
This is a long time. Bernie's been working on, focused on this as they've cut mail service in rural communities. Obviously in Vermont, this is something that, really matters in small towns. And so the resistance people who hate Bernie turn this around. The one guy who's actually been on the right side of this, fighting for the Postal Service, they turn this around to be like, it's Bernie's fault.
Yeah, I mean, it's just incredible. Well, and the more that we look into this, I mean, the hysteria around the post office is something that has been driving me crazy. We're going to be digging very deep into it because I think that there's a lot going on there. Trump obviously, basically being like, no, we're not going to fund the post office because of mail-in balloting. So then obviously giving credence to people who are like, he's screwing with the post office. Then you start to read about what's actually going on there. You're like, there's actually quite a bit. As you said, it sounds like budget shortfalls and other efforts by Republican free marketeers for a long time who hate the post office.
Want to privatize
and it's like the logical conclusion of, there's not that much mail moving through the system, so there's not a lot of money. Anyway, so
and by the way,
dig into what's actually happening.
Let me also just say that Obama was president for 8 years, and he could have done something about this, and he didn't.
Right. I mean, there's a lot of idiot Republicans out there who are like, actually, grandmas in Alaska deserve to pay $500 for a letter. So congratulations to you for all of that. However, let's talk about Bernie. So as you said, at the same time while Jason Johnson is out there being like, Bernie's actually the one who tried to destroy the office, Bernie is basically bowing down before the Kamala Harris Biden ticket. There was a moment that was unbelievable to me from CNN State of the Union where Jake Tapper, Tapper is really the only one who even has his finger on the pulse on this in the mainstream.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, Bernie, here's a Wall Street Journal article talking about how Wall Street breathes a sigh of relief. Do you have any response to that whatsoever? And he basically was like, actually, it's because Trump is bad. That was his only response. Let's take a listen.
If Wall Street breathes a sigh of relief with Kamala Harris being named to the ticket, what does Bernie Sanders do?
Well, Bernie Sanders does everything that he can to defeat Donald Trump, who is undermining American democracy. Donald Trump was lied to the American people repeatedly on every issue. Donald Trump, who was not supportive of continuing and maintaining those $600 supplementary checks that workers desperately need, or the $1,200 checks that many working families need. Donald Trump, who wants to throw 32 million people off the health insurance that they have. Donald Trump, who does not even recognize science in terms of the pandemic or in climate change. So what Bernie Sanders is going to do is do everything that I can to defeat Donald Trump, to elect Joe Biden. And after the Democrats have control of the Senate, and the House, and Joe is the president, we're going to do all that we can to mobilize people for a progressive agenda.
First of all,
Krystal.
that backdrop is amazing with the fake trees.
It's pretty cool.
Want to get one of those in here.
Yeah.
I guess I see it a little bit differently.
Yeah.
I mean, I appreciate that he's not going the route of being like, actually, Wall Street should be afraid. He's making the only case that you can, which is, yeah, these guys suck. Let's be real about it. But Donald Trump is so much worse. That is the only case. I mean, that's it.
Sure.
We covered the, the Noam Chomsky ad, which was like the best possible case you can make, which is, look, we're in a catastrophic situation, whether it's climate change, whether it's the state of the country, coronavirus, the economic situation. We're in this existential catastrophic moment. And these are our best, it's not a great option, but this is the best we can do. And then we can do our best to push them in the direction that we want. So it's not a great answer, but I don't know that there's any other answer you can really give.
I totally understand why he's doing it. It's very hard to square. I'll never forget, day after Nevada, he's like, I've got news for the Democratic establishment. I've got news for the Republican establishment. We're coming for you. And that's just not how he acts. I mean, you look at this, like with the CNN interview, that is the same answer that any Democratic official would have given about that. Yeah, but Trump is worse. It's just very, it's weird to see Bernie Sanders being the guy who's making that. And I even see progressive leftists who are dunking on him for it, being like, come on, man.
What bothers me more is when he's like, Biden could be, he never says
he said it again.
Could be the most progressive president since FDR. That's the line that really bothers me. Being like, look, I mean, the lesser of two evils thing is a real dynamic. A lot of people are weighing that, and he's basically like, look, this is where I've come down. That I can justify a lot more than he's going to be like FDR and look at these great task force and all this amazing work we've done together.
Right.
By the way, Bernie speaks tonight at the DNC along with John Kasich.
Oh,
Get
wow.
excited.
Will he say the progressive presence is FDR? It's a prediction. I think he will. I think he has to.
Yeah, he probably is going to. He probably is going to.
All right.
Do you think AOC will in her 60-second pre-recorded, officially approved?
Well, I mean, she barely has time to say anything. That would take up half of her time if she were going to make that case. So, no, I don't think so. All right.
Really exciting stuff, guys. All right, more Rising for you after this.